Hey YouTube, you're going to talk about things going on in the world around us, and I am back from Ethiopia. I was there for about a month, and it was an amazing experience, but I'm not going to talk about that trip here. Every now and then I'll be posting little montages from my trip. One thing I will say about my trip is it gave me a lot of resilience towards what I am noticing a lot of, which is first world problems. And I've gone a good while without really being bothered by much, and it's been kind of liberating, honestly. It's sharpened my focus on ways to really help people um, without getting too emotionally bogged down by the BS that so many of us are so caught up in. But one thing I came across I could not ignore, and it's just it ties into Ethiopia actually, because Nobel Peace Prize Committee had a major victory today for me, and just for the world in general. They gave the Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed a Nobel Peace Prize, and that's fantastic. A little bit about him: he's their first Protestant Prime Minister, so that's cool. But he's totally deserving of the win because he's only been in office for about 100 days, and in that 100 days, he entered a war between Ethiopia and Eritrea, which has been going on for over 20 years. It's led to about 100,000 deaths. He is also emptied out and closed all Ethiopian torture chambers, and he has also ended media censorship in Ethiopia from the draconian internet stranglehold their country has had on their people. And he's only done that in 100 days. So, yes, absolutely, he deserves the win. So, huge victory. Good job, Nobel Peace Prize Committee. You guys are doing good work in the world. I know sometimes you guys have misses, but this was definitely a dead on target hit. Especially since you guys had another nominee that I did not deserve the nomination, which was everyone's favorite 14-year-old, all the left's favorite 14-year-old, Greta Thunberg. Is that her name? Thunberg? You know, the emotional child crying and telling all the leaders of the world, how dare you get rid of my childhood and my future. Well, yes, she was nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize. She did not win, um, but she did not. Well, the left media did not let it go quietly in the night. Here's why I'm here in the first place. Newsweek came out with an article saying that Greta Thunberg was snubbed by the Nobel Peace Prize Committee because 5 of those in the Nobel Peace Prize Committee are from Norway, a country which benefits from or profits from oil. I still cannot process the stupidity. It's so stupid of one to even just utter that sentence, let alone typing a whole article that's pages long about this. So, Nobel Peace Prize, there can only be one winner. I'm going to go about this a couple ways. First, Nobel Peace Prize, how they operate, and why I don't. I have to go this way because it's such a layup. But why Ahmed is a more deserving winner than Thunberg. And then the motivation of the article. So first, Ahmed, out my sickness. So he's a much more deserving winner, obviously. He just ended a war that's killed nearly 100,000 people. Oh, I cannot get a phone call right now. Go away. The calls have been getting so bad. So I'm back. Okay. So Ahmed is a much more deserving winner because ended a war which killed nearly 100,000 people in 2 decades. um, because oh, my brain is gone. Done all these amazing things for this people that in this third world nation, by the way. A lot of people, I was just there for a month. I can tell you, living conditions are not great. Second poorest country in Africa. Most people do not have power or running water. So doing the best for these people is a layup. Yes, it's essential. But what has she done? She had one speech to a bunch of people. And she's a very wealthy child from a very wealthy nation. And has been on a PR tour for the past few years. No, past few months. She's been flying around, shooting how much carbon into the atmosphere by just getting paid to go speak at places all over the world, which has done how much damage to the environment that she's fighting for. To get paid hundreds of thousands of dollars that are lining her parents' pockets to go spend more of this first world money. So you take those two, and then you say, wow, the guy who just saved hundreds of thousands of lives in a world, in a country that has such terrible living conditions, he won over this girl who's been making hundreds of thousands of dollars by speaking to world leaders. What an atrocity. There has to be something wrong with the committee. Let me do some research. Oh, 5 of the committee members are from Norway, a country which profits from oil. That must be it. Okay, yes, huge logical jump there, and an atrocity. So let's talk about the motivation behind it. Before I go on to any more of this, I must say that Newsweek caught on, and even if it made it through the editorial staff, they did go back after the writer, and the writer did have to make an apology and redact it, but it was still out in the airwaves, and it hit the internet, so it will forever exist. You can look it up. It's pretty great. It was, yeah, it didn't get taken down for almost a day. But the point being is, like, this person spent at least an hour doing the research and writing the article, and made it through the editorial staff to make it into the airwaves. This is just the media circus we live in nowadays, everyone. A world where we can just see this all the time, and I had to really think about it because it doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense that someone who went, I don't know if this person went to school for journalism, but made it through the years of training to get to a level where they can call themselves a writer for Newsweek, which at one time was the greatest magazine in the world when it comes to it. Like, the two in the early days of magazines were Time and Newsweek. And now, you, from all those years of experience, you will make that logical jump and make it through the effort of typing all that and pushing it out into the airwaves. Like, the logical just does not make sense to me that you can go through that many steps uninhibited, like unhindered. Like, nothing's stopping you from saying send, and nothing's stopping the editors from saying, whoa, hold on there. Hold on. Like, nothing is stop that from happening. And I had to really think about it. And it's just the world we live in today, because sadly, journalism is both, or mass media, like media journalism, is both a necessity for the health of our civilization and a business. And what these mass media outlets are doing are competing with cat videos and competing with posts from Instagram models for the hearts and minds of who's gonna, watch their content. Which sadly is a demographic that's getting older and older, yet they still trying to compete with the short attention spans of millennials and younger. It just it's a business model that they're stuck with that's hindering their necessity for existence in a functional society. Last thing I'm going to talk about, because it's totally related, but ABC did a similar thing where a couple days ago they had a news package on, I think it was a local station. I'll have to look back into this. But where they posted in a news package that here's footage from the Turkish army killing Kurds, and the footage is from a gun range in Kentucky, one of those events where you can spend like $1,000 and shoot like a Gatling gun into like an old car at nighttime to see all the tracer rounds bounce off the car and everything. And they posted it in their, well, they broadcast it in the news package with news anchors saying, yes, look at how terrible, look at all the Kurds, oh, it's terrible how they're getting lit up by all these people lined up within a couple hundred yards of them. What? Okay, two things about that is, first, you can clearly see that it's not Kurds getting shot. And people clearly just lined up shooting a car. And second, you didn't check the video before you published this? Like, this made it through an editor putting out a timeline, putting some voiceover on it, or if it's a VO package, which is a package with audio, putting on a timeline and sending it somewhere. This made it through that whole process with no one questioning it. Like, this looks nothing like the Middle East. Why are we doing this? And after they got caught, they did the same thing Newsweek did, which was redact it. Like, oh, sorry, that was our mistake. Blah, blah, blah. They're sorry. ABC was like, sorry, we didn't know that. This was just a video from a gun range. We redacted it. That was a mistake. No. Hold on. I'm so tired of this. Sorry, we didn't know. Clearly. Like, this made it to the point where a news anchor is talking over video footage, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's so terrible. Look at this terrible stuff happening. And it's fueling this whole language, which, by the way, come back to my old self here, this whole language that's this, like, eternal war. It's so terrible that Donald Trump is not sending more troops into the Middle East. Fueling that language. It's just like when they doctored footage to make it look like Baghdad was getting carpet bombed when it really wasn't. It's not really all that different. So, what we're seeing now, and what we will continue to see progressively getting worse and worse, is news taking bigger risks to get more clicks and attention at the expense of, as far as even the Nobel Peace Prize Committee's good name, just to compete with the likes of cat videos and Instagram models. You see it getting progressively worse and worse, and we're going to see more and more stupid mistakes by media outlets. And what we need to do is just stop ingesting the content. Stop. You're playing their game if you're clicking on the article. Go to an alternative media source. In fact, there's some new ones coming out. I know Steven Crowder and Jordan Peterson were thinking of starting their own media outlets. And I would encourage you guys to go check them out. Way better than Fox or CNN. That's it for me. Thanks for watching. Later.